we started off with a high panel review of the role of the diaspora. And we are ending off with a kicker, as it's also coincide with the International Day of Girls. And with me today, I have four amazing girls, women, ladies with me. And I just can't wait for the conversation to get started and to hear their side and their experiences. So I hope that you have your cup of tea, you're comfortable, and you're going to hang with us for the next 2 hours as we just hear from this amazing, wonderful women and conclude our Global Diaspora Week. I'm going to be your moderator. My name is Joyce Williams, and I'm going to have the panelists introduce themselves, starting with Miss Natasha Nopel.
Hi, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm Natasha Knoppel, yes, and I'm originally from Suriname, South America, and I'm based in Holland. And I was invited to join your panel to talk about these topics. So I think it will be a fruitful conversation. I'm an economist, that's my background, and turned curator. So now I make team-centered exhibitions. And my two main topics are cultural heritage, and the other is the environment and sustainability. And I try to get across a message. It's education. Those are educational exhibitions in which I hope to create more awareness in a positive sense towards these subjects. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. We'll go to Miss Adeshola Helen Onadipe.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's my great pleasure and honor to be part of this program. And, you know, because not just coming on this program is something that I actually resonate with, and it's something that said things like this and more of it should actually be coming up for people to know, for us to come together as one, as Africa, to develop ourselves. And coming from my background, I'm an accountant by profession. I've had like over about 10 years in the banking industry. And then prior to that, I've been doing some other businesses, and which, you know, get me to start doing my own business. Then I start doing, you know, the magazine publication strictly for female entrepreneurs, strictly for women, because, you know, being a mother of 3 girls, I've had so much experience, and being a mother myself as a woman, I mean, it's something that I said, okay, we've got to do this for ourselves. We've got to, you know, empower our female ones. We've got to let them know that you can do it. You don't have to, you know, say because you're a woman you can achieve so much. No, women can actually do everything, but at every different stage of life. So with this magazine publication is actually a platform as well, where we encourage and train women on, you know, businesses, what type of business, the business structure, how to make sure you're being professional, and, you know, make them to be whom they want to be at last. And coming down to UAE here also has actually, you know, proved to me that we've got a lot to do. Like, I've not even started. We have to do so much. And that has told me that, yes, I think we're in the right place, and we're taking the right steps, and we're taking the right movement towards this particular change. And it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll go to Nafisa too.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here and to share this panel with these great ladies. Concerning my background, I am a lawyer by background. What else? Yeah, I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm the founder of the platform of African laws called Sunulex.Africa that aims at providing better access to African legal resources. And also we aim at making the laws, the African laws, more understandable to citizens by a short video that we are producing on YouTube. And I'm also a mother.
Wonderful. So we'll go to Miss Fazia Abdi.
Yes. Hi, it's very, very like honor for me to have to participate this fantastic, wonderful platform event. So which you make very, very good organizer, like could make even come with a problem. So you could make this platform the fifth time, you could make with online digital. So yeah, my name is Faisa Abdi, as already moderator mentioned it. Like I live in Sweden. I did my bachelor in energy engineer in here in Sweden. I grew up also in Sweden. So I have, after graduation, I have worked as energy consultants together with friends. During the time I was working as energy consultants, I also developed a company and started, and the company's name is Kisi Renewable Energy, which works both in Sweden and East Africa. The aim of the company is to find sustainable solutions in environmental, but also in energy industry, especially energy efficiency on solar energy and waste management. I'm also engaged as Adeshala Mainit, like some kind of social, civil, social, things. Together with friends, I started also an association called Motivation Hope. The aim of that is to arrange different activities to empower youth and women. So that was a little short about me. Thank you.
Wow, wonderful. I mean, I'm just so excited to meet all of you and to have this conversation with you. The topic of our panel is, how do you answer the question, where are you from? The home away from home. Because when you were all introducing yourself, Natasha said she's from Suriname, now living in the Netherlands. Faiza is living now in Sweden, and Helen is living in Dubai, and Fisher too, you're living in Belgium, I believe.
Yes.
So, and I'm originally from Ghana. I'm living now in the United States. So we've migrated into different countries, and all the time when people meet you, the first question they ask you, sometimes even before your name, is, where are you from? So how do you answer those questions? How do you find those questions when people come up to you and ask you, where are you from? Sometimes not even asking your name first. So Helen, please kick us off.
Well, I mean, I get this a lot, and I'm so proud. Of course, I'm Black. You can say I'm Black, and you can actually tell I'm from Africa. And most of the time, I'm so proud of, being a Nigerian. Coming from Nigeria is something that I really love so much, to the extent that sometimes even you don't even need to ask me, because the way I dress, you can actually see where I am from, where I come from. So I tend to promote my culture and my people and my, everything that my country stands for. So of course, eventually when you now ask, actually, I will tell you boldly, I'm from Nigeria, and this is what I've done, and this is who I am. And you like, and I get this note like, okay, that's good. But the okay that I get, that's good, is like, oh, I think she knows what she's doing, and I think she's from, a good place. And for some people that doesn't really know where I come from, they, to tend to ask more questions. Okay, where is your country? What do you do there? What are your people, your culture, your tradition, and all that? So I'm so proud to let people know where I come from, what I do, and what I represent.
All right. So how about you, Nafisa too? How do you answer that question? Where do you come from?
So very easily, in fact, I'm very proud to say that I come from Senegal. But then, yeah, since I've lived in France, I have the French citizenship. I also said that I am also French because I have this kind of difficulties to slice who I am. In fact, I am a part of France, I am a part of Senegal, I am a little bit of Belgium, I am a little bit of all those countries who made me, in fact. I grew up and I was born in Senegal. I studied in France. And then now I'm living in Belgium with my family. So it depends. In fact, sometimes people might say that I'm a quite a little bit opportunist. But depending in fact of, yeah, I tend in fact to take advantage of all the great things that made me in those three countries. So yes, but mainly, if you can see, I'm Black, so I'm from Senegal. I was made in Senegal, but then I'm a little bit of all those countries,
Yeah.
culture, education, and habits.
Yeah.
How about you, Natasha? How are you answering that question? Where are you?
It is really not something that I think a lot about, but because I've grown up in Suriname, I have been educated in Belgium, in Brussels, and now I live in Holland. And well, I tend to travel quite a lot. So when people ask me where I'm from, well, I'm from Suriname. I mean, I'm a Surinamese girl, but I'm also like the former lady said, the beautiful former lady is that I'm also I'm living in Holland, and you have to switch between cultures, but in the basis I'm Surinamese. That will never change, even though I have a passport from Holland. I mean, yeah, I'm proud to be Surinamese. Yeah.
Of course.
How about you,
Yeah.
Saskia? How are you answering the question of where are you from?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and it's like very normal question people ask you, especially when you are like when you are minority group and you have another color which is not like the majority group doesn't have. So that's a very common question. And for me, before I grew up here in Sweden, but before as adult, before I went to the Somalia, so I believe I was Somali, but when I was there, I was not Somali. So because people here was calling me like I was Somali, and I was thinking like, yeah, I'm Somali, and I was there. They was like, yeah, you are color, you are like Somali by color, but not in the inside. So. So nowadays I used to answer like I'm Somali Swedish.
Yeah.
Swedish Somali. So like that. So I think it makes sense what people like I'm originated from Somalia, but I'm Swedish. So both like but as other mentions before, I feel like international. I worked with people in different countries. Like I feel international. So I feel like I'm from everywhere. So
Exactly.
the feelings I have.
Exactly. No, I think
Yeah.
that both all of you your answers really captures the essence of defining who you are as a person, as a woman, and in this global world where we move around so much, trying to fit in, or when people are more comfortable sometimes when they can typecast you into one and say, okay, you are this, it kind of makes sense and it's easy around conversation. But when you are this, you also this and that and that, and it becomes confusing and all the time. But I think that it's a really great opportunity for us to have that many identities and many experiences. It really enriches what we are able to project and also contribute in terms of development, whether it's in our native countries or where we find ourselves these days. So the next question I'm going to ask is more, we are looking at African women and Black women in general, speaking on this topic. If we look at in Africa, many young women who are living in Africa and sometimes even outside of Africa have a lot of challenges trying to realize their full economic opportunities and also to take advantage of empowerment programs that are around. Sometimes it's because in their countries there's nothing like that to help them to grow, to empower. But we live in a digital age where information is has become more and more easily accessible. So I want to come to all of you personally, looking at you. You have all accomplished really major, interesting things, and you're all accomplished in the things that you set up. So the first question I have for you is that what has inspired you to do what you do now? What has been your source of inspiration? So, Isa, you can kick us off. What has been your source of inspiration?
Yeah, I think for me it's like the challenge. The challenge makes me more motivated, and I think that to see me like in 15, 20 years that I am with the company, I'm like a CEO and the company I have on other like social society impact I'm doing. I want to see like I have a dream, and in 15 years who I want to be. That's what inspires me personally.
Right.
So yeah, it's
Continue.
very short.
Yes. And we'll go to Natasha. Natasha, what has been the source of your inspiration?
This is a question I can't remember that somebody really asked me that. But if I have to think about it, I think in the first place, my parents, the way I have been brought up. My father was very adamant that his girls would grow into independent women, educated. And we have always been taught at home that you can achieve whatever you want. You have to be free in your mind. You always have to be critical as well. I mean, for instance, when you read the newspaper or anything, it's not, it is so because it states something. You have to research for yourself. You have to be critical in your mind, and you have to work hard. And if you want to achieve whatever it is, you can achieve it. And I believe that truly, and that's why I never feel afraid, because I know when you work hard and you set your mind to something, and you have to be positive. You don't have to, you mustn't think in, oh, but that is difficult, that is a problem. No, you have to think in challenges, and challenges are there to make it, I think it's even more interesting, the journey, because it's a journey. And what I really had to learn when I was much younger is that sometimes you have a goal and you set the goal and you think, oh, I want to be there. And as long as you're not there, it's not good. No, it is the journey that you have to embrace and that you have to enjoy. And I think that's what life is about. And you're never finished. You always have to set new goals. You always have to be, I think, goal driven, because what else is there?
Yeah.
Okay. So Adishola, what has been your source of inspiration?
Yeah, my source of inspiration is quite a very huge one, one back home in Nigeria and the other one here in UAE. Okay, first of all, in Nigeria, when I started the magazine business, when I left the banking industry and I started doing my event business, and I started doing business, innovation academy training business also, I saw a lot of fantastic female entrepreneurs doing so much well. And I was wondering, who is showcasing all those people? Who knows all those people? And it's like as if you're not a politician or a senator's wife or a huge, big woman, that nobody's going to, know whom you are. And it's like, for the big people, they are just there. It's okay, they can be there. But why can't we encourage, why can't we empower and bring up the younger generations for them to, to continue to live up to expectations, so that by the time we are gone, we'll have these other people coming in to represent us. And therefore, I look at for everywhere, searching for a magazine meant for ladies in business only. Locally, globally, everywhere in the whole world. Of course, I was able to see a lot of magazines made for women, just women, but forgetting that before a woman becomes that mature, sensible, responsible, decent, empowered, good woman that she is, she was once growing up. How come she grew up? She didn't just fly all of a sudden. She's got so much things to learn, to develop herself one way or the other. from the community, from the society, from schools, from different platforms before she was now made up. So therefore, I was like, okay, why can't we give a platform for these people, for them to be seen, to be recognized, for them to be heard? I mean, so that we can give them the opportunity for them to grow. I mean, it's not until when a Forbes magazine just comes to showcase you. And that is why the magazine is actually meant for ordinary people, not for a household name, not for a well-known people. I'm showcasing and featuring only the unknown people, the unsung heroes, the hardworking ladies in business that are doing excellently well and nobody knows about them. And that gave me the courage to say, you know what, we're going to create this platform, we're going to create this magazine meant for these women only. So that at the end of the day, when they see themselves on the cover page in the magazine, they can, give them the opportunity to do more of what they've been doing. And that has been a tremendous movement since I've started it. It's been wonderful. And I've got so emotional with it that so many people come to me, Shola, thank you. Because of your magazine, I was able to do this. Because of your magazine, I was able to get this. And people are getting, to know me. So it gives a high self-esteem of people. Sometimes, I mean, like Abraham Maslow said, we have money, you have everything, but at the same time, people want that, high self-esteem for them to say, okay, this is who I am. And that is what gave me that inspiration to do the magazine. And coming down here in UAE, oh my God, there was a day I was going out and I saw a lady. I said, where are you from? Of course, I can tell she's from Nigeria, but she ran away. She couldn't tell me she's from Nigeria because she's scared to tell me she's from Nigeria. And that gave me a sense of belonging, to have a way to change the image of my country where I am, with whatever I can and however I can do it, whereby anybody can come up and tell anybody confidently, I'm from Nigeria and this is my name and this is what I do. I mean, maybe a couple of you know what Nigeria has been going through, with a lot of bad images over there, with a lot of issues globally, everywhere, in different countries. So I said to myself, I just started this platform, African Change Movement UAE chapter, which I'm still working on, in where we can actually try to change the image of Africa, not only Nigeria, Africa, because talking about employment, talking about, lots of opportunities and benefits, Africans are the lowest people that can actually have this opportunity. They don't have it. If they'll have it, maybe they'll be the last people, the last set, but not at the forefront. So all those things give me the challenge, the urge to do something for myself and for my country.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you. So we'll go to you, Nafisa, too. What inspires you?
It's very difficult to answer this question. I think that maybe it could be a lot of events I went through, a lot of people I met, my parents, first of all, who just educate me to see the opportunity and the fact that everything is possible. The fact that everything is possible coming in Europe and seeing the glass ceilings when studying, the fact that I've realized that I am Black in Europe, and that because of this, not all the opportunity will be given to me, that I have to go and take them. I think that it's a combination of a lot of these events and a lot of people I met who just inspire me. Women in panels talking about their experience inspired me, in fact. And yes, it's very difficult to just say, oh, this is this. In fact, I am currently unable to identify what precisely inspired me. And I know that I have this taste of challenge, in fact, in front of these glass ceilings, just the need to prove that, okay, maybe I can just crush this glass. So yeah, maybe that's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. And I really like how Fazia kicked us off with challenges, how the challenges becomes the inspiration. And I think that Nafisa, to you end on that note as well. And in between, we see how Shola is looking at the problems. So those are the challenges and creating solutions out of it and driving the inspiration. And I think that our parents, our culture, our environments, and really just the need to be better and being in an environment where you see that there is a way, or there's something that can break, you know, for you to succeed, for you to be more than you are. And all of you are seeing those opportunities and challenges and doing something about it and building careers and being in spaces that typically you don't see people like us or people who look like you in that space. So that's really amazing. The next question I have borders on education, right? I remember when I first got to the US, everybody said, oh, go to school so you can get a job, go to school. So school is the advice. And even when growing up, your parents focus on your studies, So how has education, especially higher education, help you or empowered you in doing what you are doing now? So we'll start with Natasha.
Okay, I studied economics, so I'm an economist, and I chose economics because, actually, to be honest, in my family, you just have to go to the university. You have to study because, you know. So at that time, I was not very. I didn't know what I wanted to study, but I was good at economics. I was best in class with that subject. So, well, that was the reason for choosing that. But when I finished my studies, I worked as a consultant as a financial controller, but not a typical financial controller, but more geared towards the IT side of the job, of programming and automating actually complex consolidation reports, which I liked very much because it's very analytical, and it's like you have to run this game with yourself. Oh, am I gonna crack this one? But as I
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Natasha.
Okay. Well, anyway, at a certain point in my life, I was wondering, is this the way I want to proceed? Because what I was doing was, I liked it, but it was very, I didn't see the societal relevance, you know. And art has always been my passion, but it's something I have been, it always has been there. And at a certain point, I just, yeah, I was inspired by somebody. And also because I didn't see that side of myself. Anyway, he inspired me, and I said, okay, yeah, this is really what I've always been thinking about, been busy about, always, you know, reading about art, visiting. I was always busy with that on the side. And so I said, okay, I will go into that. It took a personal crisis, you know, but I think personal crisis is growth. And that's what I did. I have spent 6 years totally traveling around the world and really meeting artists, visiting interesting museums, interesting exhibitions, what I was always doing already, but now I was doing it like full time. You know, I did courses, I did art courses and art studies in Sotheby's, London, New York, and Brussels. Most important fairs, actually in different continents, to find my personal mission. And that's what I'm doing now, because I'm making team-centered exhibitions about, as I said, cultural heritage or the environment and sustainability. And because I'm from Suriname, I'm a Surinamese girl, I did some exhibitions on the cultural heritage of my country. about our small wooden houses that are registered on the UNESCO World Heritage List. And we are actually facing the danger of losing these houses because of estate problems and so on. And with these exhibitions, I try to gain attention for the value and the necessity that we maintain these houses, because they're beautiful. They represent stories of where we come from, who we are, who our parents were. So we cannot lose them. It's more than just pure nostalgia. I think it's very important when you want to know who you are, where you come from, to cherish what your parents, your elders have left. And it's also important to let other people know, outside of Suriname. And now I'm busy. Now I have a current exhibition about the Amazon rainforest of the Guyanas, because Suriname is part of the Guyanas. And people just love it, because the heart of my exhibitions is actually the heart itself. I do this from the heart. And I always say it's a tribute. It's not an indictment. I don't want to hear indictments. I want to share with our audience, together with the art of the artist, why that subject is so beautiful, worthwhile, and important to maintain.
Thank you. So we'll go to Nafisa too. How has higher education helped you in what you're doing now?
So I think that being in in Europe, so in Belgium, has shown me that education is not only studying for a job, but also understanding our world. And just I realized that even if in my country, Senegal, the government is doing the best to educate its people, it still stays, people just understand education as school education and not life education or a culture, having knowledge, broad knowledge of a little bit of everything. So in fact, I found out that even educated people, mostly women in my environment, were looking for information, really basic information, for example, on how to get divorced, how to preserve their rights when divorcing their kids, how to get married legally, how to declare a kid. So even educated person were struggling with those basic information. And I just found out that there was something to be done in countries where people are given the right to vote, but who didn't know basic things are how to declare a child, how to get a birth certificate, for example, or who did not understand the mechanism of democracy. So people who vote because they receive a little bit of money, a little bit of rice from politicians. So, and I just realized that, higher education, in fact, helps you to have a certain kind of skills needed in certain fields, but was not enough. And I think that, that's how everything began. I don't know if this answered your question, but yeah.
No, it does, because I think you touched on a very important thing, because people, we go to school and we get a certificate, and then you get the certificate, but you still have to go out in the real world and work. And most of the time you find that there's a lot of gaps between the school environment and the work environment, and you have to fill in. For instance, in the US, you go to law school for 3 years, you get a law degree, and we study almost everything, right? But you get out, and if you want to start your own practice, you realize that you have no idea where to start or what area even you should pick and all of those things. So as we look for different opportunity to put our skills into place, we realize that higher education gives you one part of it, but there's a lot of gap in between to get where you want to get. And so that informal education and self-studying and network and other things comes into play to fill in those gaps to continue. So I think that you touched on a very key aspect of, you know, the limitations, if you may, of higher education. It helps you, but it actually rather exposes you to what you don't know and what you need to get in addition to what you have already paid for. So Sazia, how has higher education helped you with building QC, renewable energy, and just really running your business?
Yeah, I see and I saw also before, so higher education is like a big investment for your future. Like it's like when you like choosing like to get higher education, you doing like directly invested your future. So that's why for me I always knew that I have to get an education for purpose my dreams. So that's why education is not, I don't see like education is not only about the legitimacy, like something you like only reach, you receive when you graduate without, I see like it's about skills and knowledge you acquire during your studies. It's about the opportunities that you're starting to appear in while you're studying also. It's not only the specifically the education, all the experience you're getting, the network you're starting to build with the professionalism, you know, in that field. That's like as well as your colleagues, the future professionalism, and it's like it's you can't forget, you know, it's experience you will have in your with you uh, uh, always after education. So I saw that, and it helped me because like as energy engineer, you are involved like a various types assignment linked in energy. If you like you can like, so I think as a like entrepreneur is you can run in a business, different kind of business, but in this field I think to succeed you have to have a good knowledge. And I see energy is very broad area where you get to collaborate and to meet several different actors as well as academy. So for me, it's like a both like to know, but also to use this education for business sake. So that's like how I see and how it helped me like as entrepreneur to like doing what I'm doing. So because I see like it's very important to have that kind of basic knowledge, but also as entrepreneur is something you have like you know it's with you. And I knew I and people was also telling me I knew I was leader before I was studying. So I knew I will not be happy only to employ to work as employee. I knew I could do some so much bigger. So I think like for me it was like the step one to like to educate, and you know, and you have to believe the progress. Like no one reach like high level directly, so you have to begin somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. So, Adishola, how has your higher education helped you? You studied accounting, spent some time in the banking industry. So, how did that education help you through then and even now as an entrepreneur running your own business in a foreign country?
Yes, of course, we can never ever cut out the education part in our lives. And like I used to tell some youths back home in Nigeria that always want to tell me, oh, they want to travel out of the country, they want to do this, they want to do that. I say, you've got to be educated first. If you are not educated, you're going to land yourself like an housemaid, like a nanny, like a security, or like some kind of, jobs that you don't like. So you've got to be educated first. Once you're educated, it gives you so much knowledge and understanding of what you need to do about your life. Even though you're going to be a business person at the end of the day, you've got to be educated first. For me, being an accountant has been a huge, tremendous help for me, for my life, and for my business. I mean, like I said earlier, I worked in the bank banking sector for like almost 10 years. And through that banking experience, it has actually helped me, to develop myself and my business. Being a banker wasn't something that is just easy, but because, I was able to, I was able to, to find myself in a better position of understanding that, yes, this is what I want to do and this is how I have to do them. And like I told, I used to tell my daughter also, see, when you are educated, it gives you so much level of exposure in your life, wherever you go, whatever you do, and however you find yourself. People are going to listen to you, because talking from someone that is very sound, literate, side, they would never know that you know what you're doing. But if you're not educated, it's definitely not going to help you. And that is why, I'm part of, we have ambassadors in 2 institutions in Nigeria, which have started, though we intend to grow more, whereby we're having this advocate for people to actually, educate all these children. And also we are putting in some form of business, structure, like business education in schools for those that want to start their business after school. I mean, of course, we all know education life is different from when you get to the outside world there. So we're actually like kind of preparing them while they're still in school. So if at the end of the day, they were able to get jobs from the government or from any company, fine. And if they couldn't, for whatever they have learned during that time, as they can start, developing themselves, on that aspect to be a business person for those that want to be an entrepreneur. So education is very, very key, and it's important because it actually gives you the fast way to grow, to develop, make people, professionals, and give you, the go-ahead way for you to go that way. So that is how I see it. I mean, of course, it has helped me in so many ways, and I'm very grateful for that.
Wonderful. And I think all of you answers and touches on, the goals of education. We meet colleagues from school that, have different positions, and so it exposes us. For me personally, through education, I've had the chance to see a lot of the world that I wouldn't normally have seen, whether speaking at doing speaking engagements across different continents, or even engaging different people. Most of the time, it's because of the expertise that you bring to the table that you get invited to the table, or you are able to make a seat at the table. So education really becomes a conduit for you to level up and go to the next level. Without that, it becomes very difficult and your options becomes limited. So I'm glad that you're sharing how education has moved in different direction. And Natasha, you mentioned something that you studied economics, now you are in art. And I think that that becomes really important too, because education is not static, right? So some people think that, oh, I started as a science person, so I have to become a doctor or a pharmacist or a nurse or a researcher or something. But somewhere along the line, if you find that your interest has changed, you can translate those skills. I started in university studying biochemistry, and then I changed my major to economics along the way. And then after undergrad, I went to law school. So it's just the ability to just look at different ways and translate those different skills into other opportunities as you go along. So when we are getting education, don't be stuck or don't be restricted with one course because you started it. If you don't find it to lead you to where you want to go, be free to change. And even after you've acquired a degree, you don't have to be stuck in that field. All of you are very dynamic, doing different things outside what would be maybe your main course of studies. And that is an example of the opportunities and the doors that education can also open. So all of you are entrepreneurs and educated, and coming from Suriname and Senegal, Nigeria, Somalia, Ghana. There are a lot of youth in Africa. Africa is the youngest continent in the world. Billions of young people, most of them unemployed, most of them are still in school, and looking in the next 5 years, 10 years. What advice do you have for the youth of Africa? Some might have the opportunity to travel outside, just like we have. Some might not, and they will have to remain. And even in remaining or in traveling, whatever the pathway or the opportunity leads, what advice do you have for them? What advice, if you're in that position, would you want to receive? And based on your experiences, I want you to speak to the youth of Africa and give them some hope, give them some guidelines in as they continue to shape and develop and grow. So I will start with Faiza. She looks very ready to go on that. So I'll start with you.
Yeah, thank you. I usually meet a lot of teenagers. I mentioned it before, like we have an association called Motivation Hub. So we used to arrange some kind of girls' night, boys' night, and that kind of thing. And we used to discuss these questions that we are now discussing. It's very, very important. And higher education, I think I will recommend him higher education. I know everyone doesn't have access, and doesn't maybe everyone like for because the family doesn't have money. I know in Sweden we have a free education, but I know like in Africa and other like developed countries they don't have. But I still believe and recommended get higher education, because higher education giving you success. It's also some kind of insurance, and it's giving you also independence, like you will be independent as a person. Education is already mentioned before, it's an investment that no one can take from you. You have with you where you are, everywhere you are in the world. So I think like high education, get the education. If you have that opportunity, do that. If you don't have, ask that, work for that to get by your own. So I think like that's what kind of like advice I want to give African Africans youth in Africa, but also in Europe. So you can with diaspora. I think the African diaspora in Europe, like we have to do, because we have mostly countries like they have a free education. So I think like if you don't take the chance you have, you're stupid. So you have to take the chance you have, and you have to think like you are like have a responsibility. Different. It's not only one society, with the society you're living, but also your heritage country. So I think like you have to, as a diaspora, African diaspora youth, they have to have that kind of mentality. So that's what I. Thank you.
Wonderful. So we'll go to Adishola. What advice do you have for the youth of Africa?
Like I used to tell them, especially for those that want to travel out of the country, I used to say, see, you can't be a lizard back home in your country and expect to be a goldfish in abroad. No way. You are actually going to be the same person or even worse person back, when you get to abroad. And thank God we have talked about education. When you are educated, education is the key. And once you're educated, it gives you the upper edge for you to survive. And another thing, like I used to tell them, look around you. There will be something. Africa is full of issues, problems, a lot of issues. If you look around you as a youth, there'll be something for you to do. And thank God, in Nigeria, so many youths are coming up and doing so many things, but like we always have it, government not not helping the youth, not sorting out the issues for them to, to find a balance. right now, like 2 days ago, yesterday and today, we have, they're having this riot right now going on, talking about, SARS, and it's been horrible, it's been terrifying. Like, so many youth are actually trying to find, to do something for themselves, but the securities, the police people, there were supposedly to be people to be guiding and protecting you, and now coming back to be the people haunting, the citizens. But nevertheless, we just still have to try to see to do what we can do and how we can do it. So I normally used to preach this: please look around you. There will always be something for you to do. There will be, in every situation, inside there will be the solution. And that is why you have to look into it and see how you can solve it for yourself and for your community. And at the end of the day, of course, it will bring money to your pocket. And at the end of the day, the solution, the problem is being solved. So this I normally used to preach to all the youths. And thank God, like I said, so many youths are now trying to do, some apprentice, learning one thing or the other, fashion, makeup, beading, headgear, and so many things that they could do for themselves. And these have actually been helping in so many ways. So I tell the youth of today, please, before you do anything, make sure that you find something for yourself to do. Find something that you're passionate about. When you're passionate about something, it's going to bring lots of creativity, lots of innovation, lots of ideas, change, and things that you're actually looking for. Like you said, it's not only when you're a lawyer that you must be at the bar. You can find yourself doing a catering job and doing fantastically well. So all those things I used to tell people, look out for what you're passionate about. From within you, then you can develop it, get professional advice, training, and everything on it, and then you develop from there and be whom you are. I'm an accountant. I never went to journalist school, but I'm doing magazine. It's okay, but that is where my passion is, and that is where I'm doing it. So that's what I would say. Find your passion, locate your passion, and develop it.
Wonderful. So we'll go to Natasha. Natasha, what advice do you have? Because if you look at Suriname in the Caribbean, similar situations as we have in the African countries. So for you, you're speaking to both. Oh, Natasha, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Yeah, unmute. Okay, yeah. I think the other ladies covered it quite well, but I think there are a few things. Education, of course, makes so much easier. If you're educated, you're more resilient. You have more choices. You have your independence. You can go many paths, but not for everybody. It's easy to get an education, right? Because I think if you really want to achieve something, it's all in the mind. You can achieve it no matter what your circumstances are. And some people are born with a silver spoon, and some people are born down the road, and they don't have any chances. And then you have to, like the lady said, you have to find a way for yourself. And you have to find your passion. Only the thing is that I think few people know their passion from very young on. Most of us have to find our passion. So I believe that we're all born with a mission. We all have a mission. If you see a beggar on the street, he has a mission, but it has gone astray. So you have to find your mission, and whatever your mission is, go after it. And because then you will be happy, because if you do what you were born to do, then everything is, work is fun. And I'm into arts, and I never thought I would end up in arts, but I couldn't think of, for me, a better life. And it's not easy, huh? It's not easy, but I just love what I do. And I think that is what one should strive for, to get to do that, what really makes you happy. And in which you can also help others, inspire others, and give back. Because it's not all about us doing, getting your goal. And no, it's about achieving something to help others.
Wonderful. So Nafisa too, what advice do you have for the youth of Africa? Oh, you're on mute.
Yes, okay. So as Natasha said it, nothing is easy. And I think that from my experience, everyone is a little bit an entrepreneur in Africa. Even working people, mostly working women, have an activity aside, they are selling something, they are offering some services. So the entrepreneurship mindset is there. But then I think that there is something that people have to maybe develop more. For example, in Senegal, curiosity is not something positive in our culture. And I think that developing more curiosity, opening yourself more to the world, to the internet, to what exists outside, to the solution developed outside, would be very helpful to find inspiration about what to do, how to solve a problem we are facing, but adapted to our reality. And I think that e-commerce, maybe if young African are open to the opportunity outside, to the opportunity in their country, they can find a way to find solutions, local solution to our problem and create big business thanks to e-commerce. And I've seen that, I've noticed that young Africans are very, very, very creative and resilient. So for example, see WhatsApp. So I've learned recently that there is a way to pay through WhatsApp, to develop your own business through WhatsApp. We are using WhatsApp in a way no one else, no other community use it right now. If you are in a Black community in a WhatsApp group of African people, it's not the same as being in a WhatsApp group with European, for example. So I think that being more open to the world, being more curious, and just seizing this opportunity to do something with e-commerce, to just use internet in order to have more opportunity to develop its business, to be more visible to the rest of the world, would be very great next to education. But as Natasha put it, education is not accessible to everyone, but creativity, when you are creative, when you are resilient, and when you know that and you accept that not everything is easy, I think that you are in a good path to succeed.
Wonderful, and I agree. Whenever I'm in any African country and looking around and looking at the energy and the vibrancy of the youth population, and also thinking through that with the challenges of unemployment and lack of opportunities and access. But then if you think about it as I can't speak anymore. Nafisa too said, local solutions. You know, sometimes we get carried away into thinking, okay, we should build a rocket. But do we really need a rocket? Maybe we just need to create solutions that makes it easier for instance, payments to get food from the farm to the market. So in the supply chain locally, things like that to create businesses. Because if you look at even some of the big economies where we live in, it starts from the small businesses that are built, and then eventually the small businesses grows and become either franchises or conglomerates, and it builds together. So I think that I appreciate all the advice that, you know, get higher education and look internally and look at the local solutions. And one thing that I'll add is collaboration. I think that one thing for Africans in general is that we don't collaborate enough. Everybody is so caught up in doing their own thing in a corner that we don't pull our resources and skills together enough in order to build and to scale and to create solutions. And so I think that one of the key things that I would highlight is that our African youth needs to work together, and it should be intracontinental, especially now with the ease of internet and access to people whether it's on different social media platforms and other things like that. It's nice to reach out and say, hey, Fazia, I see you are working in energy. I have these thoughts about energy. What can we do together? And you can talk about it. If it's not something that is feasible, at least you've made a connection and you've made contact. Maybe 5 years down the road, something will come up and you still, so we need to talk to each other, and we need to build relationship and understand what each other is doing so that we can collaborate and work together. So I'm going into our next question, which focuses on entrepreneurship and women. We're all women with education, with businesses that we are running. And if we look back into the continent of Africa, a lot of women are entrepreneurs, from the small scale where people are carrying things on their head on the roadside, to boardrooms and to Fortune 100 and big companies. You see women there all the time. Not as many as we want to, but women are entrepreneurs, and women have been working to produce and to help with the income in the family. So my question to you and this discussion is focusing on how can we empower more women to respond and to take the bold step of, I'm going to try this. I'm going to start my business. I'm going to try it. And then with take it even further, that it's not going to be just a one-woman shop making the bare minimum, but really dreaming big, that I'm going to have my business that can employ other people, that can bring people into it, that can serve our communities. So I'm going to start with you, Shala, on this discussion. So start us off.
Yeah, thank you so much. You know, this is actually what I represent, what I do, and what I've been doing before now. You know, I mean, part of it is the why I have the magazine platform, to help and develop all these women to be seen, heard, and recognized, you know, through various ideas, innovation that will bring a great change to them eventually. And another thing, like you mentioned earlier, was a collaboration, which is actually what I've been doing as well. You know, collaborating with one another, you know, pulling our resources, our effort together will actually, you know, make us to go higher and faster and better than we can do if we're to be alone. So I've been preaching a lot about collaboration, and I've been practicing it, both, you know, from Nigeria and also here in UAE. And through the magazine platform, I've been collaborating with, you know, a couple of companies, couple of individuals, couple of business people, for them to, you know, help, you know, entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, basically. And another thing, let's not forget, fund, you know, access to capital is actually the major problem. You know, a lot of people have ideas, a lot of people have started their businesses, you know, they are lacking funds one way or the other for them to actually take it to the next step. So through this platform, you know, for this collaboration sake also, I'm actually, you know, collaborating with some organizations that can actually help female entrepreneurs that, you know, that having their businesses, you know, to fund their business, and where maybe some without interest, some with interest, depending on the capital that will be involved, you know. So all these and many more, and also for business trainings and ideas, and also business structure, because it's not just, sometimes, you know, it's not about just you need money. Some business doesn't even need money. You just need some more information, more ideas, more people to enlighten you more how to go about it. So all those things put together is what I've been, you know, preaching, I've been practicing, and I've been doing through the magazine platform, through the academy. I have Business Innovation Academy also, where we teach people on the how, what, where, when, who are your customers, what kind of business you have to do, are you passionate about it, who are your target customers, how do you need to do it, when, where, how, I mean, location, all these things put together, because these are the things that they really need to know, not just doing business for doing business sake. And at the same time, I let people know that it's not everybody that is meant to do business. Some people are actually not meant to do business. Some people are meant to be in the office, and that's cool. They're actually in the business world also, corporate business world. Okay, so we that are in the actual, real sense of business people, entrepreneurs, that's another form, that's another platform, and which is good. So I let people know that you have to define and design what actually you need to do, which way to go. Are you for the corporate one or are you for the entrepreneur? When you're able to design all those things put together, then you can have a path to go through and you follow through and all those things. So all this put together is what I've been doing, and is what that will actually help every female entrepreneurs for them to develop themselves.
Thank you. So we'll go to Natasha. Natasha, what advice do you have for women entrepreneurs to step out and just really take a go at it? You're mute. You're muted, Natasha. Pamela, please unmute her. No, she's muted.
Yes. Who does that? Am I okay now?
Yes.
Okay. I answered that exactly what you said, is to get out and just do it. I think it's true, not everybody is meant to be an entrepreneur, because it's a kind of spirit, a kind of dynamism, yeah, that you need to have. And also, I think vision is gold. You have to know what you want. And then you just have to be, yeah, it's maybe easier said than done, but you have to be fearless, because no matter what difficulty you may encounter, if you know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and what you want, you will always find a way to improvise, because improvisation is everything. I mean, that's for me, because I think all the ladies there know that it's not easy. I mean, doing business is not easy. You have to, you meet many challenges, and with every challenge comes, you need to find a solution. And it's not about money, because actually I think, for instance, if somebody has all the money in the world and you can do all the projects you want, that's no fun. Would that be fun? That would be boring. The nice thing about entrepreneurship is just finding a way when there is no way, achieving something when actually you make something out of nothing, and I think that's the beauty of being an entrepreneur, finding a solution. So you just have to go out there. You don't have to be afraid. You just have to go. And of course, make well-founded decisions. I mean, if you're going to do stupid things, you're going to end up in a nasty situation. So, if you have a bit of education, or if you're just wise, or you have wise advisors, you have support, that's good. But, it's always an individual story.
Yeah. Well, Nafisa too. What is your advice for women in business, or women going into business?
So as I said it earlier, most of the women are entrepreneurs. They know why they're in it mostly. Yes, Natasha said that you have to do it not for money, but we have to understand that not everyone is driven by achieving something. And if you know the situation in our countries, money is the key to success, and money gives you respect, and money is in fact the proof of your success if you are doing business. And even if you're not doing business, you will achieve respect thanks to the money. So yes, we are in society where money is very scarce, and you have to earn it. And the more you have money, the better it is. So maybe the advice I would give to women is just stick to your goal to win more money, to have more money, to invest in other projects, invest in younger people projects, mentor other if you are successful. If you are not successful, if you are having some issues in your business, if you maybe, yes, are having some difficulties, try to find mentorship, because there is something that we don't, I don't think we use that much, but mentorship is a key. Having the advice of something more successful, or something with more maybe um, experience in a certain kind of certain kind of project is very helpful, in fact. And most of the people with experience, they are very open to share the experience. So maybe, yes, find mentor, try to talk about your project, because most of the time people, they have a project, but they don't want to share it with others because they will think that maybe someone will copy it. But in fact, the key of a success is not the way of copying it, but maybe the way you want to implement it. So someone can copy a project but just fail to succeed, and the project is very personal. So yeah, maybe just talking and exchanging with other about what you want to do, getting their though, and it's very helpful, in fact, to just benefit from the advice of other people and learning from the mistakes of others. So yeah.
Wonderful. So Fazia, I'll come to you. What advice do you have for women who are stepping into business or thinking about it, are already in business?
Yeah, I think it's already mentioned. It's some kind of thing advices I want to give, but I want to like put some kind of important like things that I think general, not only directly to the women entrepreneurs. I think I will talk about more the need. I think women entrepreneurs to succeed their business, they need is more funding opportunities. I think like that's the key. That's already Nafisu has mentioned it. Like if you don't have sustainable economical muscles, you can't do anything. It will be too much challenge. You developing some new idea, very new idea, and you don't have anything. So it will be a lot of challenge. I think like it's there, and now it's like more also focus on one. We need more funding opportunities, which is focused on women entrepreneurs. That's like how we can, because we know 1/3 of all entrepreneurs in developed countries is women, but they don't get but we know it's more male entrepreneurs who getting like funding opportunities than women. So I think like we need to focus, and we need to get some more funding for them.
Wonderful. That is really great. And we're going to shift gears a little bit. Today is the International Day of the Girl Child. And we have all been girls before, and now we are women. And so I'm going to ask each of you to take a couple of minutes to share some of your memories as a girl, and also really how transitioning from a girl to a woman, and advice for girls, especially, I mean, there are estimated about 1.1 billion girls on this planet under the age of 18. Some of them are going to be presidents, doctors, engineers, lawyers, mothers, so many different things. One or a combination of all those things. For some, the opportunity or the pathway to get to their dream is pretty clear because of where they are born or the family they are born into. For many, it's not the case. They're going to have to struggle. They're going to learn along the lines and along the way that the obstacles and the barriers are more than anticipated, and they have to journey on and they have to push through to get to the next level. All of you are doing that. You've transitioned from girls to women. You've overcome barriers to get to where you are now. So for this session, I really want you to be raw with us and share with us your memories as a girl and transition and what hope and aspiration you have for young girls coming up. And on this International Day of Girls, what is your message for girls all around the world? So Nafisa too is going to start us off on this.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you what kind of girl I was. I was very curious, very, very curious, and even putting myself into danger because of curiosity to know what happened, how things are done, etc. And I got this opportunity to grow up in a house where there was a lot of smart people coming around, journalists, and writer, etc. So I grew up in this environment with a lot of books, having a father who used to travel a lot and telling us a lot about. So my son is there.
Hi.
Yeah. Yes, just let me 1 minute. This was not. So yeah, what kind of advice can I give to yours? Just maybe I have this song of Nas. I know I can be what I want to be if I work hard for this. But sometimes working hard is not a key. Sometimes you need to have a lot of luck to meet the right peoples. And just every people has his own path, its own ways. And I don't think that success is just something that you build by yourself. It's built thanks to the opportunity you receive, the people you met, the situation you go through, the difficulties you have to live. So I don't think that there is one way to be successful, and everything has its own way. And I think that the main thing is to believe in yourself. It can be hard maybe for some people, but just tend to believe to yourself, or believe in God, believe that God is there for you. Yeah.
Thank you. So we'll go to Fazia.
Yeah, that's like emotional, things you're touching, like, because as girl, I was also now when you like mention it, I was thinking it was a lot of memories how I was as a girl, grow up in like in West Country, and I was like very very uh, temperament, and like it's a lot of things going on. But one things I want to like give as advice to the girls, like which has huge dreams. Like I want to say, like in my field, according to my field, I see the need for more women and girls in energy and other technical sectors very very high. So I think many companies also recognizing the importance of diversity and gender balance. So I think like in IT and technical education is very very good for girls. So I think like I know traditional still is like less girls than guys who educated in that sector, but I think I want to highlight that it's very very important, like the future generation, that they know they will be very very attractive in that sector. So get education which is like giving you uh, a higher like economical opportunity, but also you will be attractive and you will get more respect, and you will also have some kind of very very impact to the you will doing very very you're doing very very good impact in the society, but also climate in these sectors.
Wonderful. So we'll go to Natasha.
I think as a girl, I was a daddy's girl. My daddy was my everything. So everywhere my daddy was, I was there. Even when he was smoking his cigars, I was in his belly, you know, smoking cigars. I mean, not smoking it, but inhaling it. Of course, my mother didn't like that. But my father and I, even when I was small, you know, when he was at home, because he traveled a lot, he was a businessman. He was sitting in his hammock, and then I was go sit with my father. And then he said, let's talk business, you know, and I was like 5 years old. And we were talking business. And I love it till today. I always want to talk business. And I was a naughty girl. I was not always obeying the rules. And my mom thought I was a bit stubborn, because if she said, oh, if I told you 10 times to do a thing, you didn't do it. I told your sister one time, your sister did it. So that's how I am. I always had an independent mind. That's how I am. And I never changed. For young girls, I would say, just know your minds, know who you are, and find out what moves you, you know, find your passion and believe in yourself, because I think that's a golden rule. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. Your self-respect, believe in yourself, you know, working hard, being prepared to go that extra mile, to work hard, because nothing comes just like that. I don't believe in that. And most of all, okay, but we covered it before. I think if you have the chance to educate yourself, please do that, because it will make your life so much easier, in the sense that you will have more choices, that you will be an independent lady, you know, that you won't get slapped around or whatever, because you can hold your own. It's very important to be able to do that. And what I think is very important too, don't think that if you don't have money, you can't achieve anything, because I don't believe it starts with money. It starts with an idea. It starts with your imagination. It starts with the vision you have of yourself. Vision is gold.
Wow. Wonderful. We'll go to you, Adishala.
Oh my God, that was a nice one from Natasha. Oh my God, yeah. I wasn't the daddy's girl. I wasn't even staying with my parents. I grew up with my grandma while I was growing up, and it was a tough one. She's a very tough grandma. Of course, she can spoil you, but at the same time, she's extremely strict. So, and I think that has actually helped me a lot in my life, and it has actually built me up to, built me to a large extent, and even though I went to a secondary school, and like I said, sometimes I actually even believe the secondary school, college school education is very, very important, even more than the university. It's when you get in the university, it's just an extension of what you learned previously, from the college, from the secondary school. So my secondary school was very, very strict. I went to girls' school only, and there, you have teachers that are actually like your parents, like they will beat the hell out of you if you're not getting it right. Like you must get it once, and that's once. No more excuse, like opportunity for another time. So growing up was very hard, I must say, but at the end of the day, it's something that has given me the strength to be who I am today, and to actually discover life fast and sharp, and which has actually helped me to develop my 18-year-old daughter as well. I told her, I said, see, the opportunities you guys have, you guys are having now, we don't have it while we're growing up. I mean, you have internet, you have social media, you have everything. And, I thank God for that, because, I mean, right now she's in her 3rd year in Middlesex University here. She's a makeup artist, and she has her own lip gloss line. I said, you're just 18. You're almost going to graduate. You have 2 businesses you're doing. I don't have such. I don't have the opportunity. But like I will always tell the young girls growing up, like, please do what you can while you can. And like Natasha said, if you can think it, you can achieve it. What you visualize, you realize. Whatever you want to do with your life, with your destiny, you can actually be it. It's gonna be the days of, no education for girls. Girls are not meant to be in school. Women are supposed to be in the kitchen. You are supposed to be made for the bedroom. No, you have to be on the forefront, on the front line of the board meetings, of the executives, of everything and anything you can be. once you can think it, you can achieve it. And that's why I have, if you can look up here, I have Oprah, I have Abudu, and I have me there. I mean, these are the people that I look up to, that are my kind of role model. And I've I told my daughter as well, I said, see, you have to have some people like role models in your life that you can actually emulate, and think that if they can be whom they are, you too, even you can be more. And like you said, these are the people, I mean, our young generations, we have them, we're going to have presidents, the senators, the politicians, the business guru, huge philanthropists from them. So, and all those things, if they can equip themselves with it, they can be whom they are. So I think girls' life for them is it's an endless thing. They can be whomever they want to be at any time of their life.
That's wonderful. And I, like you, I had the chance to grow up a bit with my grandmother in the village, and my grandmother was very time conscious and very organized. So she had every time in the day that in early in the morning, she has to go to the farm. We'll be coming back. That's when most of the people in the villages will be going. But she didn't want to. She thought that going later when the sun comes up, so you cannot really get much done. So she would rather go early in the morning when the sun was down and get much work done. And then we get back. Going to school, going to church was really a core part of my growing up. We went to church, and she always hosted people because of who she was. She always hosted people, and living with her, I got a chance to meet a lot of people, different people with different careers and backgrounds. One of my uncles had friends from all over. He used to live in the US, and he had friends all over. And my grandmother was an excellent cook. So she always cooked for all these dignitaries that came into our town, and just really learning from different people with their walks of life. And I was a bit more rebellious. I always try to push the rules a little bit to see the reaction of people. I always, when I was a girl, I used to do that. Whenever I was engaging with somebody, I just wanted to see how they react if I did something opposite of what they said. And so my grandmother always was like, oh, I can't wait for your mom to come and get you, because it was such a headache for her. And I think that, those kind of things along the line, society try to tell you how you should behave, and how you should be proper, and what this is right and what this is wrong. And it kind of kills some of the creativities that we have when we are growing up. And I really like how Natasha said, her dad would say, let's talk business. What kind of business can 5-year-old talk? But it just really gives you that empowerment and confidence that you have something to say, or you have something of value to add. And I think for all girls who are growing up now, you touched on the opportunities, the internet and other things. The confidence and the self-respect that you have for yourself has to be first, because the way that you look at yourself and the way that you value yourself really drives your behavior, and it pushes you to a point where you are bargaining for what you really deserve and not what you are being given. And we've talked several conversations with different people on what is beauty, who is beautiful, who is not beautiful, who is accepted. And beauty comes in all kind of different ways. Look at the 6 of us, we can see Pamela, but the 5 of us, everybody looks different in a way, but beautiful in their own way. And you cannot look at a picture of somebody and compare yourself to that person and say that, oh, my nose is not quite perfect and my hair didn't do this. And those things rob us of the gifts that we have and the opportunities that we can share. Your value really comes from within, and the strength that you have within you. And we have to, whenever I meet any young girls, that's one of the things that, look, forget about the external. Your decision making and your movements and your empowerment does not come from the external. It comes from the internal. So you have to believe in yourself. Like Natasha said, in your mind, what is in your mind? You cannot be, women are so targeted and we are bombarded with commercials, you know. Oh, we have the what's it called, the moisturizer cream that takes away a wrinkle, then tomorrow the same cream, oh, it will shape this. And so we are targeted with so many things that makes us doubt ourselves, like, oh, do I need to buy the part 2 or 3 or 4 of the same kind of cream that now it has curcumber, and so it's more moisturizing. And all those things rob us of what we can. And I think that it's more than time enough to just push those things aside and to push forward and become the CEOs of energy companies. To, I mean, what Nafisa is doing in terms of making law accessible, and being a project finance attorney in working in developing countries. Sometimes it's impossible to find the domestic laws of countries and to understand. And because of that, it robs countries of even investment. So really using that conduit and that opportunity to create something that makes it easier for people to understand the laws and to come to that art is such an important part of our lives. And looking at cultural heritages and even sustainability with climate change and how the environment is going. And it's difficult to get anybody excited when you are talking in technical terms. People are bored. And so using things like arts and, you know, films and those things to tell those stories, that really engages people. And the magazine, the platform of publication, you know, people, when I'm telling my story, I'm going to tell it in the best way possible. And even the worst parts, I'm going to shape it in the same way. So when we have to be able to tell our stories, and we have to be able to have the platform to tell our stories. And with someone like Adishola, talking to a Nigerian or any African woman, being from Africa, you understand, and you understand the story in a context that will be different from somebody who hasn't had that experience or been in that environment. So I really applaud all of us and all the people working behind the scene for this program, all the exciting women that I've had the chance to meet, and all the young girls that are coming up and going to change our world, that the world really depends on you as much as it depends on the men. And so your goal is not to be pretty and be in the kitchen and be somebody's missus. I remember a while back, I had a speaking engagement in Brazil, and I posted the picture. And one of my friend guy said, "Oh, you look like a politician's wife in this picture." And one of my female friends said, "Why can't she be the politician?" So they started arguing amongst themselves on Facebook, and it was funny, you know. So we have to go to battle for each other in that way, that we are equally competent and capable of taking the roles that are coming up, whether it's in leadership, whether in innovation, business, technology, science, social, in any sector and in any aspect. Women are capable and girls are capable of growing and transition. And we have to really also, as the generation now, as we take different positions and have platforms like this, to even engage more stakeholders, to look, especially in our native countries, to make provisions and to change the way we look at society and look at people and look at women and girls, that they actually can be drivers. Girls can be drivers to move our economies forward and create that equal opportunity for girls as well as for boys to really grow and develop and blossom. So before, we're going to transition back into our overall theme. And now everybody is about, I don't know, Pamela, do we have any questions that you want us to address? There was a comment by Dr. Savage, and said we have to ask ourselves the question, what is the need? collectivism as our social responsibility. So in addressing that, or in going along those lines, that as women, as we were putting together the Global Diaspora Week, one of the questions that came up is, after the end of the week, what is the one thing we can all agree on and pledge and commit to doing together? You know, we've had several panelists on several topics, but at the end of the day, for this panel as women, what is the one thing collective that we can say, okay, I can commit to this, I can do this, whether it's mentorship, whether it's, you know, publications, whether it's speaking more and opening more of your platforms for other women to express themselves, or engaging back home more, because sometimes, you know, you can look at the problem, it's a bit far away, so it's not your problem really. And we can turn blind our eyes out of that. So engaging more, becoming more aware of things going on back home. So I'm going to ask that question. What is the one thing that you like to see, and not only see, but commit to making it a reality? So we'll go from Shola.
Yeah, actually, I'm actually, very emotional about this thing I want to talk about, because this is actually what I saw with my two naked eyes, going on here in UAE for quite a long time now. And it's like nobody's talking about it all. People just don't care about it. It's all about sex trafficking going on here with African girls, and it's quite huge. I literally I met two ladies at the metro. One was 16, the other one was like 19. And I was like, I saw them, the way the look wasn't pleasant. So I decided to approach them, and they didn't want to talk initially, but this younger one, the 16, just got busted into tears, and she was like, they were actually going to some kind of a place where, they're gonna get molested, paid for peanut or nothing. And she was like, she was supposed to write an examination, WAEC examination back home in Nigeria. And I mean, my heart was very heavy, and I was like, this is not right. I mean, like, I have children, I have girls. My first daughter, she's 18, the second one is 16. This could be my child. I mean, this is someone's children. So this thing was actually something that was heavy in my mind. I was actually trying to do, so which is part of what I'm creating the African change movement here in UAE. Is part of what I'm going to put in the curriculum to help all these vulnerable ladies. And though I know it's going to be a huge thing, like I will need to step on some toes, because so many things are going on and some people actually are aware about it, but I'm going to start it in my own way to make my own change with what I can, with the people that I have on board, with the resources and the people that can collaborate with me to reduce. Then we talk about, maybe then we'll stop it, because it's quite huge. It's on daily basis. They bring these girls from Africa, not only in Nigeria, they bring them from Africa on daily basis, coming down here for sex trafficking and all that. And it's quite alarming and, very terrible and heartbroken to see all these young female girls that were supposed to be in school or going to school and being transported down here for sex trafficking. And this, of course, is enslavement. It's something that they don't like at the end of the day, and their life has been, is going to be shattered at the end of the day. So this is a project I'm working on. I'm planning to achieve here in UAE, and also to help those people that are jobless through the organizations that I'm collaborating with, and the people and the individuals, and some local Arab here that have some that have a law firm, and also that are working with the government. So all those things I'm trying to put together in my own capacity here while I'm here, and see how it goes. And so help me God.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. And I spent 2 years ago to work on supply chain security on the southern border of the US, and just really looking at the number of girls that are trafficked along the border, whether in trucks, in containers, and brought over into the US and just transported all across for sex trafficking, enslavement. We all look at it and think slavery is over, but it's happening, and it's happening to minority girls a lot, especially girls living in developing countries. So I applaud your efforts, and we will all support you in ways that we can to make this a reality. So we'll go to Fazia. What's your pledge? What can we support you with? You're mute.
Yeah. Can you say again the question?
I said, so what, as we were talking, we said that what is one thing that you commit to in helping girls and women in advancing? So whether it's mentorship, are you going to mentor more girls, publish more things, speak more things about women empowerment? Shola just shared with us about her project to really limit and reduce and eventually abolish trafficking of young girls from the continent of Africa into the UAE. So
yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm like, as I mentioned before, so I'm not doing something in local at home in Somalia, but I want to like I will continue to do same work I'm doing here in Sweden too, like more like be role model, mentoring the young girls, encourage them like to get higher education, and that's like how I think I can do my you know, the girl I'm like meeting them continually every week or once every month. So like you know, during like when we like arrange like this kind of girls' night, I think that's I will continue to do that because I see like they come in and they're curious like what I'm doing, even it's very hard to, and like it's very like for them it's very difficult to understand specifically what I'm doing because energy sector is like not, as I mentioned before, it man's dominated sector, so it's not normal. But I think like I'm quite also trained by myself to explain the way I can explain, because I have the education. I used to explain like to use that kind of sustainability, you know, like energy efficiency, solar energy. What's that? So like I'm also challenged by myself how I will explain for these young girls who doesn't have same high education I have, like to make them more reality. So that's that I will continue. I think like women empowerment where I am in the world, I'm thinking like maybe in 10-15 years I see by myself in one country in East Africa. Maybe I'm living there, so I will continue there too, because it's my ambition, and I'm passionate to do like and to invest my free time to girls, because I know how it was when I was young. It was like I didn't have so many role models, especially the sector I am like I was curious, and we mentioned it in this now panel too. The curious is very good, that you have to be curious, you have to find what you're passionate, and I think like that's what make me give me this opportunity I have today. It's not I didn't have some role model, some like grandmother, or like some like a teacher, or like some related person who has been energy engineer. So I want to create that platform that young girls who can relate me, who have the same color as me, who has like can feel like that they can relate me, that they can see the real picture, which not existing before.
wonderful. So we'll go to Natasha.
Okay, well, it's a bit of a difficult question for me because I can only answer it indirectly because my life is committed to art. I mean, that's how it is. I live art. I love art. It's my life, and I believe that art can be a change, an agent for change, and an agent of hope. It's the biggest form of hope, the greatest form of hope. So through the projects I do, through art, trying to create awareness and inspire change. Being busy with artists from my background, from the Caribbean region, that's my commitment to giving them a podium. The female artists have a special place. I mean, because even the artist world is, I think, male dominated. So in that position I can also, give special attention to female artists. And also by, for instance, my current project, I have 4 young assistants, all girls, university students. And I talk a lot to them and I coach them. And I even examine them to give them practice, how do you say that? Practice in the area in which we're working. And I certainly can grow in that and being more geared toward girls. But at the moment, that's how it is with me. Yeah. But I like mentorship. Yeah.
Wonderful. So we'll go to Nafisa too.
So I've noticed something within African students. Most of the time when they are graduated, they tend to have a lot of difficulties in finding an internship or their first job in Africa. So what I can commit to do is to give more visibility to their work, to showcase what they are doing. For example, publishing the article they are writing related to African laws, their thesis, their dissertation, if they want maybe to present a topic related to African law, I can provide them I can provide them the opportunity to use our website to have more visibility and to showcase who they are, because most of the time HR just tend to Google them before contacting them. So it would be great if there is more content related to what they can do and who they are. So yeah, I can select South Africa to give more visibility.
Wonderful. So, I mean, all of you have shared really key.
Sorry, can I say something?
Yes,
please, to Natasha, because I just felt because art is quite very, very powerful. It has deep meaning. It's very, very it's expensive, and it's very good. I'm just thinking if it's something that, because I don't know if there is anything for the girl child, for the female world that in the arts, the artists, so that if there's something that you can actually help to project them out there, like organizing seminars strictly for the young girls, the female one, then let there be arts of projecting a successful business from a young girl to a businesswoman, or to a successful woman, at the long run, different kind of arts, designs, projects that can actually help them to transform their lives. That, I mean, when you sometimes visual, what you see can actually, have a way of working in your brain and kind of like, okay, I can be this, I can do this. So I'm just thinking if it's something that you can think about, I don't know what your exhibition, covers, but if it's something that you can add to it, like strictly for the young girls, to encourage them. I mean, like we said, it's been dominated by the men, by the boys. So if we can actually use your exhibition or your platform through the artwork to encourage young girls, to encourage females, for them to go into artists, to be artists, and for them to draw something fantastic, beautiful, or a young lady being a successful business person, or being a huge, something like that. I'm just thinking,
we could talk about it,
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
the
I
sure.
love that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Sure.
whole
Yeah,
point. So we
yeah.
have you guys are connected now, and so we hope that the relationship goes beyond today, and we collaborate and we reach out to each other and support each other. Um, we have few minutes to bring our panel to an end. It's really been an exciting and really informative conversation for us to have today. We started off with the question of identity in a sort, but how you answer the where you from question. And we heard from all of you in different ways that you are addressing the questions. And Fazia has her hand up, so I'm going to yield to her.
Yeah, I wanna only do some more input. In my company now, we have a collaboration that we are like now arranging 2 activities for the here at Dalarna University to increase to 2 workshops that we inviting girls in with minority groups that we inviting them and then we go in energy program and they go in classes and see like how classes are, and then they will have meeting with the professors that they can ask after like questions that they get after they like they went like the classes, and also to go to the we build some demo plant of grid system solar panels the roof of the university that we will also go and show them like how the process is and that kind of things. I think that's also focus it in focusing in only girls, like to make them to make their interest in like give to make their interest in bring the up the interest in that area. So in the company way also I'm focusing that kind of things.
Wonderful. So I can't thank all of you enough. Fazia, Nafisa too, Natasha, and Adishala. And I feel like I've gained for 3 sisters today. So I've added to my network of sisters to reach out to be inspired by, and to collaborate and work together. I mean, a program like this, a lot of work has gone beyond today and behind the scenes, and really putting it all together, especially in the midst of the coronavirus, so difficult. Usually this takes place in person. And so moving it virtually, we had no idea how it's going to go. And it looks like it's really been a successful week, and we continue to want to engage further from there. We started the week with our main theme being diaspora role in establishing the home countries amid the COVID-19, how we can turn crisis into an opportunity. And we're fortunate to be opened by a high-level panel discussion on how to integrate the diaspora into the existing developmental strategies. And we had a minister from Togo, from the European Parliament, and then also from the Senegalese diaspora in abroad. We had conversation on diaspora investment and innovation solutions to tackle the impact of COVID. And then we talked about the crisis as a catalyst to expedite the transformative agenda towards the autonomy and self-reliance of African countries. And we talked about welcoming the diaspora home, not only in terms of remittances, but also in their talent and other resources to help develop the continent and different countries. And then we talked about the gathering towards a purpose, which is really a key theme about what can we come together as the diaspora and build and really focus on, as this is what the diaspora is doing. And then we had we talking about remittances, how to leverage remittances to really help shape policies on the continent. And we end today on a Sunday with such a positive high note on how we answer the question, but it's a women panel, and then talking about our childhood as girls and really celebrating the International Day of the Girl Child. I really want to thank all of you for your time and your resources to us. I want to thank Marie Chantel and all the team, especially our interns, Pamela, Lauren, Hannah, Rima, Umau, I think. That's the danger of trying to mention names, then you forget somebody. So if I forgot anybody, I am really sorry, but I do appreciate all our speakers who have dedicated their time and shared with us their resources this week. And we hope that you continue to engage with the African Diaspora Network of Europe. And we look forward to seeing and supporting some of the initiatives that you are doing. We are now part of the same community. So please share with us what you are doing, and we'll continue to, you're on our email list. So, and I have all your WhatsApp, so I'm going to be bombarding you anyways. So do the same. Let us know what you are doing, how we can work together, how we can support you. So those of you that it's nighttime, have a good night, have a good evening. Those of us that is kind of starting the day, we are going to enjoy the Sunday. And I really look forward to meeting all of you and continue working with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been a nice one. Thank you. God bless you. I'll be contacting you also. It's been a nice one. And well done to the crew at the back. I give everybody kudos. Well done. Thank you so much. I'm glad.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.